Now that we are done with the LED blinking example, let's move on to the touch sensor example. This is a new cool feature that's available on the ESP32 boards. The ESP32 has internal or 10 internal capacitive touch sensors. We already explained or showed these pins. We already explained these pins in the wiring layout of the ESP32 lesson, but let's talk about them again. Now, these 10 internal capacitive touch sensors can be used as buttons, and they are numbers from general purpose input-output number 4, 0, 2, 12, 13, 14, 15, 23, or 32, 33, and 27. These are the pins. I will show you the pins number in a minute. Okay, this is it, and you can refer to the wiring layout or the pin diagram lesson where you can see these pins. These are 10 internal capacitive touch sensors that you can easily use. In order to read these pins, what you need to do is use the function touch read, and this function will take only one variable, which is basically this is the function, and it usually takes one variable, which is the pin number. Let's say pin number 4, pin number 5, and so on. So in order to use this function, first we need to assign a variable. Now we can write int value and write touch read. Inside it we can write any number. We can use general purpose input output 4, which basically the first touch sensor T0. And now let's create a code where we read the state of this touch sensor and display it on the serial monitor. To do this, first you need to initialize the serial communication in the setup method, as you can see between these two curly parentheses. So write serial dot begin and use any baud rate. We can use 115,200 and let's add some delay to help it stabilize. 1 second. Now let's write a sentence. Let's write serial.print ESP32 touch test. Now we have to set the pin mode for the LED as output. We want to use the LED as an indicator for the touch state or the touch sensor state. So we have pin number 2, which has the LED, and we need it as output. We also need to write a value and make sure that it equals 0. We want to make sure that the LED is off. To do so, we need to write the pin number and write low. Using this line, we are making sure that when the ESP board starts, it will make sure that the LED is off. It will only turn on if there is touch or if the touch sensor is on. Okay, now what we need to do next is read the value, touch read, using touch read, and store it inside the value. Now we want to ask a question. If the touch value is above or below a certain value, we can turn on or off the lid. But before we do that, we can simply print the touch read or the value that we get from the touch read sensor, which is the capacitive touch sensor on the serial monitor. So let's do this. Serial dot print new line, and inside it we need to place the value. After that we can add a delay, a 1 second delay. Now let's try compiling our code. Let's store it inside our coding folder. Let's call it touch read example. Okay, let's remove these. Now let's compile it again. Okay, done compiling. Now let's upload the code to our ESP board. By the way, you can use number 4, which is the pin number, or you can use T0, T1, T2, up to T10, because we already mentioned that we have 10 touch sensors. Now let's open up the serial monitor. Okay, as you can see, the touch value here is 107, and if we did touch it, it will change. Let me do that. Okay, now as you can see, we have 74, 37, 71, 70. Now let me touch the pin. As you can see, once I touch the pin, the values go below 10, and when I leave it, it goes again up to 70, 72. So I think that we have a constant value here. If the value is below 50, it means that I'm touching the pin. If it is above 50, it means that I'm not touching the pin. We can adjust our code accordingly. Now let's do that. Now let's go here and add if statement. Now in the if statement, we are going to ask a question. If the value is above or equal 50, okay, let's move this inside these two parentheses. Now in that case, we need to turn on the lid and add a delay. Else, if the value is below 50, we need to turn the lid off. Okay, now let's verify our code. Oh, and let's print a sentence inside these two if statements using the serial.print. So here we are going to print lid on, and here we are going to print lid off. Let's verify the code again. Okay, now let's upload the code to the ESP32 board. Again, The process takes some time. Now it's connecting to the board. Now it's writing the code. Okay, done uploading. Now, if we open up the serial monitor, as you can see, the lid is on. And if you take a look to your board, you can see that the lid is on. Now, let me touch the touch pen. As you can see, the value goes below 50 and the lid is off. That's it. This is how easily you can use and adjust the touch sensor inside the ESP32 board. It's built in, so you don't have to connect any extra components. This is how amazing it is and how easy it is to deal with this board. If you have any question regarding this pin, I'm here to help you. Thanks for watching this lesson. This is Ashraf from Educational Engineering Team.